So hello everyone. Today's video is a very interesting video because today I'm going to talk about the benefits and importance of the pineal gland and what happens when you activate the pineal gland. Watch the video from the beginning to the end to know about our pineal gland in detail. But before that, let me start by giving a small introduction about myself. My name is Kanika. I'm a healthy mind coach and I help working professionals like you overcome stress, overthinking, negative thoughts if it is impacting your personal and professional life by reprogramming your mind for success. I also run a program called the Ultimate Mind Reboot Initiation Program, in which I teach how to reprogram your mind using the concepts taught by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I also keep regularly posting content on these topics. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more videos from me. Let me start today by talking about the pineal gland and what exactly is the role of pineal gland in our body. First of all, it's important for you to understand the location of the pineal gland. Our pineal gland is located right in the center of the head. If you look at the picture that I've just shown to you, you can see that if you were to make a cross section from the top of your head and middle of your back, and the pineal gland exists at the cross section of where these two fingers meet right inside our head. Now, what does our pineal gland do? First of all, our pineal gland secretes a very important hormone, and that hormone is called melatonin. Melatonin is that hormone which is responsible for us to get a good night's sleep. Now, how does pineal gland work to release this hormone called melatonin? What happens is our pineal gland receives the information on when to secrete melatonin through our eye receptors. When our eye receptors receive this information that it is the natural light outside is going down, it starts to prepare the body to release melatonin. Melatonin is a neurotransmitter, a hormone which is responsible for us to have a good night's sleep. The better the quality of the melatonin in our brain, the better is the quality of sleep we get at night. Now, the same eye receptors in the morning, when it is about for the natural light to again come back, when it is time for the day to break in, the eye receptors send the information back to the pineal gland that the natural light is coming up again and it is no more dark. And that's when the pineal gland receives the information that it is now time to reduce the amount of melatonin in the body. So the same nighttime neurotransmitter melatonin is converted into serotonin in the morning. Serotonin is responsible for our moods. Our whole body is dependent on this delicate balance between melatonin and serotonin between morning and night. Besides managing our sleep and wake up cycle, melatonin also has many other important roles and functions to play. For example, it is highly anti-aging. It helps in building the immunity in the body. It is responsible for a lot of growth and repair that happens in our body when we are sleeping. Helps people with depression, and a very important role that the higher the levels of melatonin in our body, the lower the stress hormones circulating in our body, because melatonin has an inverse relationship to the stress hormone which is secreted by our adrenal glands, and it is called cortisol. So the higher the amount of melatonin circulating in the body, the lower is the amount of cortisol in the body. And that is why people who are regular meditators, not only do they get very good night refreshing sleep, but the overall stress levels are also lower in comparison to people who do not have adequate melatonin circulating in the body. That is why you must have seen that people who are under a influence of stress or live a very stressful life on a day-to-day basis, they do not get a very good night refreshing sleep for a simple reason that the melatonin production is impacted. The cortisol levels in the body are too high. Let me come to the next most important part, and that is what happens when you activate the pineal gland. First of all, what is the meaning of activating the pineal gland, and what exactly happens to a person when the pineal gland gets activated? To understand that the pineal gland has a very important characteristic, and that is it is a transducer. What's a transducer? A transducer is nothing but an antenna. If you remember the older antennas, what would they do? They would catch the signal from the outside, and depending on the frequency that they are latching onto, they will display a picture on our TV screens. Same thing happens with our mobile phones. I'm sure we've all been in places where there was no network because our mobile was not receiving the signal, and as a result we could not communicate or talk on the phone. The work of the antenna inside a mobile phone is to catch the frequency from outside, and which is the network, and then convert it into a message so that we can communicate with our friends and family on the phone. Similarly, Our pineal gland is like an antenna inside our brain. In normal circumstances, when it is not activated, its role is to secrete this important neurotransmitter called melatonin and serotonin. But when a pineal gland gets activated by various techniques, this pineal gland starts latching onto higher order frequencies, which helps us get downloads of information from the universe. If you've liked what I've shared in the video today about pineal gland and its activation, don't forget to hit the like button below and subscribe to my channel. And I, Kanika, your healthy mind coach, will come back again next week with another video like this to enlighten you about the mysteries of the mind.